Hello guys, welcome back. Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and here we are now with another World War I Wednesday. And yes, I've got all this this rigging done, as you've seen. This is going to be a short one this week because basically I have spent probably 3 hours doing this. I had to open up all the holes again. 0.6 drill, but it's just when I painted them, they I don't know, something happened. So I opened them up again and then gone through and fitted all the strings. Now on this upper wing, it's basically one piece of string for the whole length per side. So there's basically 2 lengths of string in there. Now it's also worth remembering, don't ask me how I know, but you get it all done. And the thing is, when you do these, you are very much used to you know, starting here tied off, and then you come along and you go under, and you come along and you go under, and you come along and you go under, and then you tie it off. The same here with this one. So I did the same on this wing, and then I noticed that on these, where these spars go here, where these slots are here and here, that the string should go over. So I untied it all, redid it so the strings went over. And then after I tied it all up, I noticed we had the same here where the cabane struts go. So I had to undo all that again and then come in and do it all again. And then when I did ones, I can't remember which side it was, I actually put it back how it was. I put it back wrong. So I undid it all and then put it back wrong. So yeah, now what I've done here, what I've found is if you pull these strings, you can actually start to twist the wing. So what I've done is left these are just tied up loosely, they're not glued. Okay, so we've got excess string on each thread. So they're just all tied up loosely, so that when it's all fitted to the aircraft and all the struts are in and it's all there, we can start to pull the strings, and if we start to see a twist, then we can go for it from there. And I've done the same down here. As you know, these are tied off, these need to be trimmed off, but they're tied off and glued on the inner ends, and then these outer ends aren't glued, and then we can tension them and get them all nice. So but I think you'll agree they look with that string in there, it looks bloody great, doesn't it? It does look really, really nice. But this is, I gotta be honest guys, this is a very, very time intensive build. Probably 3 hours to do all this rigging. You know, threading it through, making sure you've gone through the right hole, making sure you're underneath here, making sure you're in there, making sure you go underneath there, make sure you go over there, and oh, lots and lots of faffing about. But anyway, that's the wings done. So I'm looking in the instructions and I've discovered something here. It seems to be a bit weird. So we've done the wings. So now the next bit is to come back to the fuselage and start to do the seat and the fuel tank and everything. Well, this is the bullet protected fuel tank. So that's going to go down in there, and then we've got these side pieces coming in here, and then we're going to work on the guns, and then we're going to do some more rigging on the fuselage, and then we're going to come along and do some more rigging on the fuselage, and then we're going to fit the wings, fit this. But then when we come over the page here, the wings are gone, which seems a little weird because you're seeing us fitting this here and there's no wings, but when you come back to us fitting the wings, that's on there, that upper piece. So I really don't know what to do here, but I guess follow the instructions and go from there, and just think of this as images they've had and they've simplified and stuff, you know, and I guess it's easier to show all that going on without the wings in the way. So I think we'll have to start following the sequence, because what I don't want to do is end up sort of, you know, fitting this now and then finding I can't put this rigging in after. Although I don't think that would be an issue. What we do need to do is fit this fuel tank here. We don't necessarily need to fit the seat, but we need to fit the fuel tank, because to do this rigging here on the top of the fuselage, then we've got those holes are actually in that fuel tank and they go underneath that fuel tank. So basically it's coming through and tying off back at this end again. And it's really worth remembering to follow their instructions, because you can see here they're telling you to tie a knot. Okay, tie a knot here, start there, go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, across the other side. So it's basically one piece of string. Same here, through the other side. Yep, same here. And then I don't know why they've got this string here labelled R. I can't think. Do we have a reference back here to a string R? No, basically. So I don't know why that string is called R, but it is. Please refer to the tension line instructions figure. Okay, so we've got this big rolled up thing here with all our instructions on it, so we'll have to have a look at that. So but the instructions they're not bad, but they could be less confusing, let's put it that way. So yeah, this one here is basically going to be between the ailerons on the horns, to keep the aileron straight, so that as that aileron goes down, that's going to help to pull that one up. So it's a kind of servo assist sort of thing. So as you move the stick to the right, to turn right, you're going to pull this string here, which is going to pull that aileron, it's going to pull that aileron down, and it's going to pull that aileron down, which is going to pull that string that way, which is going to pull this string this way, which is going to pull that aileron up. So there we go. Anyway, yeah, that is right, isn't it? To go right, that way needs to go up. So at least, yeah, that's it. So that needs to go down. Yeah, it takes some thought. And here we've got to fit these wing struts, which is more bloody woodwork. So, and we've got the machine guns going in here. It just seems a bit, I don't know. But anyway, looking back here, I'm sorry I'm a bit all over the place. The seat, this comes on a flat sprue. I'm sure you've seen it before. If not, go back look at my reviews and stuff. It's it's actually horrible plastic. It's really horrible to try and clean up. It's soft, like kind of like with a vinyl-esque, but it's like really old, cheap plastic. It's horrible. But what I did here, I just wrapped this around a Viejo paint pot. In fact, I didn't. I didn't work on a Viejo paint pot. I wrapped it around this piece of plastic tubing, like that. Held it on with a rubber band, and then just dunked it in some boiling water. Well, I boiled the kettle, poured it into a mug, let it cool for 20 seconds, so it was probably about 98 degrees, and then just dunked it in, out, and then it's taken on that shape. So now that will fit on that seat base, like so. It'll go on there. I'm not sure how it's going to glue, so what I'm tempted to do is glue it before painting. But you can see there, go on. You can see there we have our wicker seat ready to go. Okay, so we'll try and glue that together in a minute. We'll get some paint. In fact, we can paint that light brown the same time as we do these wing struts. God dear, more bloody ejector pin marks to sand out as well. So I also need to paint these bits here silver, because remember these were silver and I stripped them. So I'm going to get these out to remind me. There's one. There's the other one there. So we can put all this back away. There we go. There we are, so that's those two. We've got ejector pin marks in here as well. They are going to be visible from the inside, so we need to make sure that we deal with them. We've also got those tiny little holes down the bottom there. There's a bit of sprue gate on there, I've just noticed, got to come out. So there we are. Right, so I'm going to get those ejector pin marks filled, and we'll get those primed. We'll get the seat glue together. In fact, I'll just it doesn't say to use any particular type of cement, but I'm just wondering. I would like to be able to paint the seat separate, but I don't want to risk. In fact, I'm going to use the quick setting, see how that goes. See what happens. Then if I mess this up, you won't have to. And we'll stick that back in there. There we go. And we'll just add some cement around the back there just to tack it in. And see how that goes, see if it works. you've got this this ribbing all around here, this string. It's obviously wound around the bamboo, whatever it is, and yeah, very difficult to clean up because it's such a, I don't know if I can show you, but it's such a weird plastic. It's kind of soft, but it's also hard. It kind of tears. It's horrible stuff. I don't know what it is. In fact, it might say on the sprue. It says polystyrene, but you can see it's kind of bendy, yeah? But you'd expect it to snap at some point. I mean, that one there snapped off because there's a sprue gate in the middle of it. So, but here where it goes in, you know, you'd expect that. You can see it kind of tears. It's almost like cheese strings. Awful, horrible stuff. But we'll see if it's glued. It appears to have glued. So I'll put some ordinary extra thin on there just to be sure, because the quick setting can be a little bit weak in certain aspects. That's my opinion anyway. I know Zinzan's doing some tests, isn't he? Some proper scientific tests. Anyway, right, so that's that glued together. So I need to go and get some painting done, and then we can move on. Okay, so we're back on the bench. Now I've got the seat obviously glued together. We've done the ejector pin marks in these parts here, so they're going to be sprayed in an aluminium colour. I don't know which one yet. I might use LP48 sparkling silver just to get a bit of variation going on. I've got the wing struts here, ejector pin marks filled and sanded. It turned out these all just sanded out, so that's all good. They're done. There's also these little fairings which I hadn't noticed before. They sit on top and below the centre of the wing, and they've got to be painted in the green. So I need to check actually, because I've done these here. I need to go back and see what colour I used, see if I did actually use Humbrol 309, because obviously they need to match that. And I've got them off the, I've cut the sprue up, and then I'm going to spray the inside of them. I'm not worried about those ejector pin marks there because they're going to be where the glue's going. But I do want to get, I want to get the insides painted, and then what I can do is once the insides are painted, we can take them off the sprue, clean them up, stick them down with a bit of blue tack, and then spray the outsides before they go down. Probably use a bit of white glue to put them on, and obviously the seat, that's going to get painted at the same time as this. So I thought while I'm doing all this wood graining, I may as well do the last bit of wood graining other than the actual propeller itself, and get this done. Now you can see on here, moving forward, they show you this part here with the wood going together with this, and this is all going to be done in like a canvas colour, I think. But here, this is a seamless joint. So I thought what I'd do is get the fuselage out, and we'll get this piece attached. So that piece is going to hook under there at the back, and then just drop down like so. And that's going to sit on the top. We need to make sure it's central, just like that. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to need to take that down because it wants to stick up. So I don't know why it wants to stick up. Is it because that side hasn't gone in properly, or is it because there's a peg or something somewhere? Something's holding it up. It's there. Something there is holding it up. It doesn't seem to want to go down. It will go down if it's pulled, but it doesn't want to stay down on its own. So that's all good. Is it going to clip on? Just looking here, we've got these ribs under here. There's a bit of plastic there, there's a bit of sprue, a bit of flash, so get rid of that. That might have been affecting it. But these are supposed to sit in these holes in here, and they don't appear to sit in there particularly well. But it looks like I've got that leaning forward slightly. I'm not sure I've got that in there right. So let's just get that in there like that. Yeah, that's the problem. I've got that piece It's my fault. It's not the kit manufacturer. Get that out of there. That piece there, you can see it's out of square. It's leaning forward, so I'm going to just pull it back. Just give it a tweak. There we go. So get that to go into there underneath, which is the easier said than done. There we go. Look at that, that's sitting down there beautifully now. Just shows test fit, test fit, test fit. Always dry fit, guys. Okay, so that's gone down there beautifully. So now these side pieces can be glued on, and they're going to be glued onto here like so. Yeah, and then this join here has got to be seam free. So what I'm going to do is fit that one on there like that. We'll spin the fuselage around. This thing's lovely looking, isn't it? I was just thinking actually, while I was doing some cleanup, if you are going to build one of these, if you've got one and you're going to build it, you haven't got one, you're going to get one and build it, next time I would take a different process. I would basically go through all the sprues and fill all the ejector pin marks. Just put a film on or something, drive yourself around the bend, fill all the ejector pin marks, and then go and sand them all. Then go and spray everything that's going to be wood grain in your tan colour, your chosen colours for whatever you're going to do. Get all that done, okay, and then do all your wood grain in. And then start the kit, because I'm finding this is very, very difficult to get my mojo into, because every time I pick it up, I'm facing, like with this, I could never just pick it up and work on it. You pick it up, you get a piece out, oh, it needs wood grain in. Then you're hanging around waiting for the wood grain to dry, and they do something else, and oh, it needs to be that green colour, which takes forever to dry, and then, oh, I've got to do some rigging. It's just, oh, it just goes on and on and on. So what I'm going to do here, that was my recommendation. If you're going to build one of these, get everything done, and then when you come to build the model, you will actually be building the model rather than just bloody stop-start all the time. And also the instructions are a complete mess. They're all over the place. So bear that in mind as well. But there we go, that's going to fit in there nicely. I'm only going to put glue at the top because I don't want it to get onto the fuselage. That's why I'm using the quick setting. If it does get on there, it probably won't bond, because by the time it gets down there, it'll be gone off. So I can brush that in there like that, get that over. Just like so. Pull that around there we are. Right. So there we are. Right, so that's those glued on. Now they are going to line up hopefully with panels that go in at the front of the machine guns are going to be coming up here. So I'm going to leave that to dry for a little while, and then we'll get that blended and sanded. But the reason I wanted to get it done off the sprue, in fact I've still got some seams down the side there. I want to get it off the sprue is to do the wood grain, spray the tan colour, so that it's ready for the wood grain. In fact, I get the wood grain on there as well, and then it's all just ready to go. And it'll be a case of masking the wood grain and painting the whatever colour it's going to be. But again, you see, this is what I'm saying. I'm going to get all this wood grain done, wait for that to dry, then I'm going to have to paint all this and wait for that to dry. So yeah, we should be good to go now to take this off. There we go. So we should be able to rock this out of here. Kind of get one side out and swing it out, that's it. And I'm going to get some ordinary extra thin. Get that into there, get a nice big dollop going in there. So it's got a really good weld, nice and solid. And I'm just going to leave that to dry for half an hour. Not worried about the seams or anything yet. I want to get the tan done, that's the whole purpose of getting this off of here. So there we are. Let that dry for a minute, and then I'll be back. Okay, and there we go. So as you can see, we've got these little trim pieces on the side. They're done in the LP48, is it? Yeah, LP48 sparkling silver. It's a really nice finish. Gives it a very sort of, almost like a brushed aluminium finish. It's lovely. LP11 is also very nice, but it's nice to have a bit of variation. You can see this, I think, is LP11, either that was LP70, but you can see it's just a very subtle difference. It just adds a bit of interest rather than just having everything one colour. I've taken the opportunity to do the wheels as well while I had the H309 out in the airbrush, so that's that one done. I've done the backs of these parts, as you can see here. These are the fairings that go over the central wing, so they're all done in the H309. And then we've got the wood grain done. We've got the wood grain colour on the seat. This is basically LP77, so we'll get that cushion in there painted and the band around here. And as you can see, we got some black super glue on there to fill in those seams. And as you can hear, my voice is going. So I've been coughing solid for like nearly 2 weeks, and my voice has just finally started to give up. So I'm sure some of you will be pleased to know that. So I'm going to call it a day there. That's not been a very long one, but as I say, it's just lots and lots of work and prep. So now what I've got to do is wait for this glue to dry, sand that out, get that primed and everything so it all looks nice. Get the wood grain done on here, get some messing around done with the seat, get those bits off, spray them, and then when I come back next time, we'll start doing some assembly, and we can do some more rigging on the fuselage. We have to be really careful with the fuselage, because I do know that it is very easily, as you can see here, it is very easily twisted, so we need to be very careful there. So right, I'll see you next week for another WNW Wednesday, and we'll go from there. At some point, I think we're going to be doing this one. I did a review of this. This is the beautiful little Triumph in 35th scale, so from Copper State Models. So I think I'll probably be doing that, and I may go and get one of their vehicles to build as well, because they are so much nicer than the Mini Art as far as a building project goes. So anyway, I will see you all next week. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.